Hey you! Yamasaki here, and welcome back into the channel if you're new around here. Let me ask you a question. You guys got an old 20R or 22R that's got a oil leak coming from somewhere? Well, don't fear, because in this video I'm going to show you what you need to do to solve that damn issue, because I'm having the same problem with this old boy. So stay tuned. Oh man, never thought I'd see Papa Red back in here so soon. But for those of you who have kept up on, the videos on this old boy, you guys will know it was going to happen eventually. Because this thing, oh yeah, this thing has got a pretty serious, well, not majorly serious, but a minorly serious oil leak. And unfortunately, it's coming from the rear main. Yep, that's one of the issues you can possibly find yourself having if you own an old 22R powered vehicle. Whether it be an old pickup like this or, one of the old cars, whatever you got. This oil leak can be a common issue, and we'll get into that. In this video, I'm not going to, directly show you me taking this thing apart and how to do it, but I am going to explain to you what I've had to do so far and what I still have to do in order to get to that rear main sill down there. Let me start over here in the engine bay. I'm going to have to crawl under this thing to give you guys a better idea of what you got to do. But essentially, your rear main seal is sitting way on the back of the engine and over the rear of the crankshaft, and unless you plan on pulling the engine, you're going to have to drop the transmission, and that's what I'm going to have to do with this thing. And well, if any of you have seen my previous videos, it was pretty easy to get the transmission and engine in this thing, but now that the cab's on it, well, we got to do it the old traditional method, So well, I don't have a starter down there. I'll tell you, that's one thing you're going to have to remove. I got the pile of parts sitting over here. But yeah, essentially, you're going to have to drop your transmission. I mean, if you really want to pull your engine, that's another option. But I see me dropping the transmission as an easier way to solve this issue, rather than, reworking my work here and tearing the engine back out. That's something I really, really don't want to do. It's just, pain in the butt. So essentially, here's everything that I've had to take off so far. Had to take off the drive lines. It's pretty self-explanatory. Take those off. Had to take the shifter boot off. And on my truck, for those of you who know, but for those of you who don't, my truck came in pieces. And what happened is the previous owner had cut the strip of metal that went and separated this hole of your transfer case and this hole of your transmission. So it's now just one big open area. And me and my dad fabricated a custom rivet in part to kind of, lessen those holes and keep dirt and stuff out. So had to take that off. Here is all the hardware. You're going to have to take, this is the plate that attaches kind of towards the left rear side, the driver's side, and you put a clamp on it and it holds your exhaust system in place. I'll have to remove that. You're going to have to undo your clutch slave cylinder. Got those bolts out too. You're going to have to undo all these bolts, which is what's holding the transmission and that plate together. And then there's also two other bolts that are a really big bitch. on these pickups especially. Luckily I have a 2-inch lift, but I don't think it's really going to help much. They're located right up top of the bell housing. There's 2 of them, and those are still in need of getting removed in my case. But enough of me babbling on. Those are the parts I have off. Discussed what's going on here. Now let's crawl under this thing so I can give you a better visual of what you're going to need to do and what I have had to do. Oh boy almighty goddamn. Love being on the ground underneath my truck, you know what I'm saying? It's just a pastime I enjoy. Anyway, this is the culprit right here. This is where I figured out that it was leaking, because right where you see that drip, that drop right there, that's always where it's leaked. And as you can see, it's covered every square inch of the bottom of my transmission and bell housing and all that. There is the slave cylinder. I undid that. Your starter system is right in that corner, right up there, right above that slave cylinder. There's the front connection to your front drive shaft. And there's where that plate would have been, held in by those 2 bolts right there. It clamps your transmission. Gives a little bit more stability. But what I have to do left, what I have left to do, I don't know if I can get you guys a good visual here or not, of those 2 bolts up there that still need to get undone. But you maybe kind of be able to see. They're kind of right up in that area. Right there. Is that one of them? No? Can I not show you? It's not easy to see. But there's 2 more up there that I gotta get to. And then if I scoot my ass over here, I still have to undo the cross member here, which is held on by 4 bolts here. And then 4 bolts right there. And essentially, what me and my brother-in-law are gonna do is we're gonna drop this transmission and hopefully it goes smoothly. But that is essentially where I'm at. 2 more bolts up front on the bell housing and the cross member right here, and we should be golden to get this transmission out. And I might throw in a little clip of me removing this transmission out of its original truck during the series of when I restored and preserved this truck. But in the meantime, I've got a spare 22R engine that I'm going to go out and show you. Because I took it apart at least a little bit, and it definitely helped me understand a little bit more on what I need to do in order to do this rear main sill replacement. It is tucked over here in the corner, and this is actually an engine that I got from the antique iron halls. I found it. It's a later model. It's a single cam timing chain. As opposed to the one in my truck and the Trekker. They are earlier 22Rs that have the dual timing chain. You can get upgrade kits for them from LCE and other places to convert them to the more reliable dual timing chain, which I did not know about until my father informed me of that, which is pretty cool. So here we go. Got a 22R engine, and what you're going to need to do, what I already did, is here is your intermittent plate that kind of connects your engine and your transmission together nice and flush and smooth like. Here is your flywheel. Now when I drop this transmission, what's going to have to happen is I'm going to have to take my clutch assembly off, which is mounted to the flywheel, and then the flywheel is held on by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bolts right there, and then you can just barely see down in there. If I can get the light in a good spot here, you can kind of see the bolt right there. What you're going to find back there is a little housing. Your crankshaft is going to be right here. Your seal is going to be right there, and then you're going to have a little housing that's held on by, I believe, like 5 bolts. And that acts kind of as a barrier, the bottom of your block, kind of, because it also bolts to the oil pan, that housing, and then it bolts up to the back of the block here with 5 bolts. And there's a gasket behind there. But essentially, you take that housing off and the seal's going to come with it. You pound that seal out. You put the seal back in. And you should be good to go. But there's a catch. There's always a catch. What I found out, and am finding out, is these 20Rs and 22Rs have a common problem where you can actually wear a groove into the back of your crankshaft where that seal is sitting, which will cause it to, of course, leak oil. Now there's a solution to this, and I'm going to show you that. But be wary when you take yours apart. Be sure and feel your crankshaft, see if there's a groove in there. Really hope mine doesn't have a groove, but the feller who owned the truck that engine was in originally probably had a couple 100,000 miles on it, because he used it for elk hunting and everything back in the 80s. You know, just an old timer using his Toyota pickup like anybody else would. So, you know, high mileage, you might have a groove worn on the end of your crankshaft. But like I said, there's a solution. We're going to go and check that out right now. Here is the solution. Now, when you get in there, essentially you're going to find yourself at a crossroads. Either you're going to get in there and you're going to find that you only need to replace your seal and you're good to go. The other road is you're going to get in there, figure out you're going to need to replace the seal, which you should anyway, you know, if you're going that far. You're going to find out that there is that groove on your crankshaft. But here is the solution. It is called a seal saver or a crankshaft repair sleeve. And it is what it says it is. All it is a sleeve. You put this on the end of your crankshaft, which allows you to have a new surface to put your seal on, and hopefully it won't leak. But the unfortunate part is I have heard that some people have even used this sleeve and still experience a leak, which is really unfortunate. And I hope I don't run into that issue. Otherwise, I'm going to be buying a lot of oil over the next 40, 50, you know, however long I live, because this truck and me are dying together. But that is the solution if you have a groove worn into your crankshaft. You need a crankshaft repair sleeve. So you just got to slide it on there, put your sleeve on, and you should be good to go. Hopefully. You never know. Yeah, that is essentially a quick guided tour on what you're going to experience when doing a main rear seal replacement on one of these old pickups or whatever has your 22R in it, 20R. So yeah, there is not much else I can really explain to you guys. I think I've covered all the bases. I guess another thing I can tell you is this thing's running pretty good. Fired right up after sleeping during the winter. Unfortunate part is when I opened up my radiator. Come on, don't fight with me. Be nice for the audience, thank you. I don't have any fluid in my radiator. And this is a radiator that me and my dad repaired. It was leaking towards the end of the bottom where the copper is, and we repaired it. It worked. You know, we tested it, you know, blocked off these and filled it with water, and it wasn't leaking. But me and my brother-in-law were looking at some of the fins, and they look kind of wet and rusted. So it might be a thing that just went bad, you know. It's 45 years old. It's a 45-year-old radiator, you know. So I went ahead and done a thing, and I just went on the old eBay and bought one that'll fit, a nice aluminum one. Now I know you're probably saying, oh, what the hell are you doing putting a Chinese radiator on that Japanese truck? Well, this is the cheapest one I could find, and I know you're probably saying, don't go cheap. Well, what I did is I replaced my radiator on my 99 4Runner because those ones were made of plastic. Freaking plastic. Can you believe it? It's blasphemous. But, you know, the aluminum one seems to be holding up just fine. And this thing is not a race car. So I'm not going to be pushing the horsepowers out of that engine very much. So I think this is going to do just fine. It looks real nice. It looks like it's got all the original, where everything originally would mount, you know, the shroud, and it's even got the tabs here that help you line everything up when you want to put this thing in and install it. There's your mounting hardware right there for where you mount it to the actual body. And you know, it looks good. The original radiator cap on my old radiator fits it, so honestly, I think we're in good business. And one more thing that I am going to replace, that you should replace every now and then anyway, is the fuel filter right there. That one's looking a little bit dirty, so I'm going to just go ahead and replace it. I think I might also, you know, people do both ways. You know, the Weber here has two openings. You can remove this plug and put it over here and put the barb fitting over here, you know, to each their own. I just have mine running from my fuel pump here right next to the engine, under these, in between these vacuum lines here. And you know, it seems to be working fine. I don't have a regulator on it. You know, it still runs fine without a regulator. It's just some people are saying that these fuel pumps run about 7 psi and the Weber carburetor only needs like 3 or 4 psi. So it seems to be running just fine though without it. So I might end up swapping these so I can run a fuel line instead of this close to the heat of the engine, you know, run it over here or something like that. I don't know. All in good time. I drained the oil out of it, so yeah, I just got to drop the transmission, get in there, and see what I got to do. But that was just a quick rundown of what you'll experience when you're doing a job like this. You know, just I'm hoping that it can help other people that need to go through it, and you know, give a couple of quick tips. It wasn't real hard to get all these parts off. It took a couple of days, you know, because you know, I work a full job and everything. YouTube is not my main source of income, nor do I even make money making these videos. I just do the videos to do the videos, you know, the old school YouTube way. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment for more content. And Yamasaki out. We'll see y'all later.